And good morning. Well, how are you? Welcome into the Real Monica Adams show, trying to bring a little sunshine to your life today. I'd love to know what you did this past weekend. It was a busy one for our Real Monica Adams team. We had a couple of speaking engagements, and boy, did they light up my world. In fact, I'm still riding the high from that national conference with Jay Bloom, the incredible energy that was in that room from those women. There's nothing that's ever matched that. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, Jennifer Bonacorsi from Jay Bloom, for asking me to be your keynote speaker on Friday. And then Bridget Tyree, who was on our show in the past. Bridget had us at the Gateway Hemophilia Association. They just changed their name to the Gateway Bleeding Disorders Association. And I was able to tell my story about surviving one of the most actually, I don't know, I haven't checked in a while, but it was the largest blood clot in medical history. And it was amazing. The tears, the joy, the laughter, the education that happened this past weekend, and having a little time for the balance of life to enjoy a wonderful birthday celebration for Jerry Schultz, who booked us for St. Charles Community College and their entrepreneurial symposium, where I actually met some of my interns. So it was a very fulfilling weekend. In fact, I just got a chill when I said that, just overall. So how was yours? Were you kind of in a funk? Did you have a fantastic one? Let us know. This is your community. Talk to each other. And by the way, we are on several platforms. So tell your family and friends. I met a lot of people over the weekend that said, oh, I'm not on Facebook. Where else can I watch? YouTube, X, Instagram, Rumble, LinkedIn. We are fired up on all of them today. And as you can feel, we are fired up. And no, I'm not on caffeine, even though the woman I'm going to talk to today might be able to give you that, or some herbal aspects of tea and coffee. We're going to tell the story of Amber Hamilton. We actually met her within the last couple of months and have just fallen in love with her, as I know you will as well. I can't wait for each and every one of you. Please mark it on your calendar, July 31st. Our mobile Monica will be at the Tea Spout at 11 a.m. So that day we won't have a 7 o'clock show. Instead, we'll be coming to you at 11 o'clock, and we will be introducing you to one of the most adorable and really thought-provoking wellness tea coffee spots in the Chesterfield area, all throughout St. Louis County. I really love what she's doing. So today we get a chance to tell her backstory. We'll, of course, give you some news you can use, some sports news. Did anybody go to Energizer Park last night? I had some tickets offered up from one of our coworkers here. Wasn't able to use them. I wish I would have. I would have loved to have been there. It was electric, so you can feel that we probably had a win, right? Well, I'll tell you more about that coming up in just a second. National Day of Calendar, and then we'll get into Amber Hamilton's interview. But before we do that, we have to say hello to our friend, our aspiring meteorologist, Beckett Moore, who does a segment for us called What the Weather?
Good evening from St. Louis, Missouri, and it is a beautiful one.
And as you can see, it is brought to you by GradeWorks LLC. And we'll talk a little bit about Mike Vernacey and the wonderful work that he does. I'm seeing all the contractors out early this morning trying to beat the heat. So we'll talk about that in just a second. First of all, good morning, Beckett.
Good morning. How are you?
I am fantastic. So we didn't know what to put behind us. I had heard maybe some rain in the forecast later, maybe cloudy. So we were trying to pick that for you. Is it going to be humid?
Yes, it is going to be humid, and we do have a rain chance tomorrow, so pretty spot on.
Okay, good. All right. Well, very good. How was your weekend? What did you do?
Oh, it was pretty nice. We were here at my cottage in Chautauqua, and we didn't do much, but I worked on Saturday and Sunday at the concession stand here.
So are you enjoying that, by the way? And are you looking forward to going back to school, or do you think you're going to miss working?
I think I'm going to miss summer and working, yeah, for sure.
But you know what? For those that don't know, he is going into his sophomore year. What are you most looking forward to in your second year of high school?
I would say just since I'm in freshman year, it was just getting into things, but now you know how school's going to go, and so it's a little bit more easy, and I think it'll be a little bit more fun.
Are you involved in any? I know you were originally trying out for golf. Is there any sports or anything else that you're doing outside of your studies?
No.
Nope. Well, we'll see. Again, we all get well-rounded and we find passions, we find hobbies. Well, we're going to find out if we can play golf or tennis or pickleball or whatever this week. Let's let Beckett give you the forecast.
Yes, so looking at the 7-day forecast starting for your Monday, we are looking at a high of around 87 degrees. Yeah, there it is, 87 degrees and mostly cloudy skies. Then as we head into tomorrow for your Tuesday, 40% chance of storms with 90 degrees as your high. That rain does get out of here by Wednesday and Thursday. Mostly sunny skies with highs in the low 90s. Friday, some more cover coming in, and then Saturday and Sunday, that sunshine does return.
So for the rest of the summer, actually, when do you start school, Beckett?
Mid-August.
Mid-August, that's right around the corner. So what do you have planned until you have to go back? Anything big?
In early August, we are going to Montana, so I'm really excited for that.
Oh, you got to tell me all about that. I've always wanted to go. I've never been before, but I hear it's an absolutely beautiful area of our country. Well, I hope you have a great one. And again, stay as cool as you possibly can. And then we'll check in with you again on Friday.
All right, sounds good. You too.
All right, that's the incredible Beckett Moore, the aspiring meteorologist you can find on X and on YouTube. Be sure to follow him and always, again, wish him the best and thank him for what he does for us on a regular basis. Okay, were one of you stranded at Lambert Airport? I saw miles and miles of people and very frustrated people at our Lambert Airport. So it was jammed up. Look at these lines. Again, this is all because of this overflow, lines of travelers that overflowed onto the road as thousands of travelers and flight delays jammed the air traffic plans. A spokesman for St. Louis Lambert International Airport said the crowd was in part due to the end of a weekend convention, the Seventh-day Adventist General Conference session, which typically draws 30 to 50,000 people to the area. According to Explore St. Louis, this season is one of St. Louis's largest conventions, with all 50 states and territories represented, along with delegates from more than 100 countries. Storms blowing through Missouri also delayed the flight. Some delayed nearly an hour and a half, according to FlightAware. The spokesperson for Lambert Airport also noted that prior to Sunday, the airport had already seen heavy travel this summer, but a lot of the people weren't expecting that, and those large crowds spilled out onto the road, and it left some people missing their flight. So obviously a lot of hot heads. People were extremely frustrated, not understanding what the heck was going on. So that conference, and I'm wondering, there was that national conference we told you about with Jay Bloom, and that had people in from all 50 states as well. So again, what's the biggest thing we can learn? Patience, patience. At some point, you'll get to where you need to go. We'll get to the destination. Well, this is a continuing story. Millennium Hotel, which for the longest time sat vacant right there at the riverfront. The long vacant hotel now has a new owner, officially owned by the Gateway Arch Park Foundation. Over the years, we have highlighted the issues at the vacant high-rise, including weeds sprouting on the roof, toxins spreading inside. City leaders want to turn the area into something that St. Louis can be proud of. And back earlier this last week, KMOV learned that the Gateway Arch Park Foundation submitted a remediation plan to address the dangers inside the building before it's demolished. Once the organization receives the approval, they estimate it could take about 2 years to clear the site. The foundation plans to work with the Cordish companies to remake the property into a residential office and commercial space. Well, I love to do these stories of hope. A 9-year-old surviving after a freak accident sends an arrow through his brain. They say it is an absolute miracle. This happened in Minnesota. The parents of this boy says it's a miracle their son survived falling face first onto an arrow when he slipped on some ice in their driveway. The boy's name is Gus. He was helping pack his dad's truck for a hunting trip back in March. He slipped on some ice on the driveway. He was carrying a lot of stuff at the time, including a youth bow and arrow. And when he fell, can you imagine this? What a freak accident. That arrow entered into his head just beside his nose. The woman said, "I was vacuuming downstairs. He came in a panic, lots of blood. He fell right on the arrow," the mother said. He pulled the arrow out of his own head while he was still in the driveway. Wow. By the time he reached his parents, he was bleeding, but only seemed to have a very small cut. And then he kept saying, "Mom, am I dying? Am I going to leave you? I don't want to leave." And they kept saying, no, we're getting stitches. That's all you need to do. You need to get stitches. They drove to the hospital. The emergency room doctor sent Gus by helicopter to the Children's Hospital in Minnesota. No one knew how far the arrow had penetrated the 9-year-old's head. And after a few hours of observation, doctors sent him home. Then he started vomiting. His parents brought him back to the hospital. Head scans were taken, and they showed something no one could believe. The arrow had gone through the middle of Gus's brain and came within just 2 centimeters of exiting his skull. They couldn't believe this. Again, they just said it's a miracle. We're so thankful, so grateful. Unbelievable. These freak accidents that happen. Sometimes we hear freak accidents that don't have a good outcome, but I'm so glad for the young Gus in Minnesota that this one did. We go from a 9-year-old to an 86-year-old who says, I'm not stopping anytime soon. Now, my mom, I remember when she was going to turn 80, she said something about maybe I should jump out of an airplane. I did that in the past, and I was like, Mom, let's do it. Now, I don't know. My family might say no. My mom's 87 now, but this woman's on a mission not to do just one, but to complete. Folks, look at that number, 1,000 jumps in her lifetime. Okay, she's from Long Island, New York, and she took to the sky just this past weekend for another adrenaline rush. She said the saying goes, with age comes wisdom, but with age comes thrill for her. She's traveling around the country with this one goal in mind. Again, there's an award, she says, you get for 1,000 jumps from the United States Parachute Association, and it's gold wings. She got a step closer to her goal. She went to the plane in Long Island, jumped more than 800 times already in her lifetime, and if all goes according to plan, she expects to take her 1,000 jump sometime next year. You go, Kim Noor. I know you're going to do it. I mean, come on. Isn't she an inspiration for all of us? Well, sports news. Did you go to Energizer Park last night and see St. Louis City SC? Or maybe did you go and check out the Cardinals? Let's first talk about our Redbirds. An injury fill-in, Alvarez, scored the winning run. The Braves hit 3 home runs, unfortunately, to edge our Cardinals. So the Cardinals have kind of been up and down lately. After the St. Louis bullpen had retired 7 in a row, they had a double to lead off the 8th, and then they drew a 1-out walk to set the table for a 372-foot drive. That was a key moment in the game. One of the key stats, by the way, Murphy had 7 home runs in his last 11 games. He had hit just 2 in his prior 33. So Sonny Gray, whose last turn into the rotation was moved up to day to allow him to squeeze in an extra start before the All-Star break, takes the mound for St. Louis. Again, continuing to see what will happen with our Cardinals. Now, St. Louis City SC and City 2. Now, you know we have an interim coach right now, and that interim coach is the one that's been leading City 2. And I have to say, when you change at the helm, this is what happens sometimes. Look at the score. Yes, St. Louis City, in fact, winning yesterday. The final score was 2-1. Congratulations to City. And the standout moment, and somebody that watched the game, please tell me what this particular, image of these guys, what is it that they are doing here? My husband and I were trying to figure it out. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. And if you went to the game, or maybe if you've been to games lately, you can tell me what happened. But City SC beating Portland, and Marcel, he was the standout for the game. He had both goals, by the way. Congratulations, City beating Portland 2-1. Next up, by the way, on the road, FC Dallas will be playing St. Louis Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Actually, according to this, it says we're in town. I heard on the radio this morning that they were on the road, but according to what I'm finding online, it's showing that we're in town. And then City 2, they've won 8 straight, making that MLS Next Pro history. So good news for St. Louis sports fans all around. If you went to the movies, did you go see Superman? So I was listening to KMOX radio this morning and the entertainment piece. It was very interesting. Dean Cain, who you may remember played Superman many, many years ago, he was in a long interview talking about how he wasn't very happy with the latest, and said, James Gunn, by the way, is a director from St. Louis, and he was like, did you have to make it so woke? So what do you think about that? Did you see the movie? Did you like it? It's kind of getting mixed reviews. It did well at the box office, though. I mean, look at this. Superman's director, James Gunn, incredibly grateful after $217 million box office opening. And he said the film's message resonates so powerfully. Of course, that's coming directly from him. It did launch Gunn's DC cinematic universe with a $122 million domestic opening. Warner Brothers Superman generating that. Internationally, Superman took in $95 million in ticket sales, bringing its estimated global opening to $217 million. The film is the first theatrical release from new co-heads of DC Studios, James Gunn and Peter Safran. So what did you think? Did you like it? Did you agree with what Dean Cain is saying? He said there was too many things that were being pushed into it, but overall, I've heard good things. Just let me know. Drop in the comments of what you thought with it. And then today, National Nude Day. What? I'm not coming to you nude on the air. National Tape Measure Day, and it is National Grand Marnier Day. There you go. You are up to date in what we think you might want to do as a little, water cooler talk, or talking to your family and friends, or what we call maybe some news you can use. I'll look at comments here real quick. Yep, Rose says 86 in skydiving. I'm lucky I make it to the coffee pot each morning on foot. Thankful for Gus's outcome from a terrible situation. Absolutely, Diane. And good morning to you. She said, I love the bright floral top. So cheerful for a gloomy day. We haven't done a What Am I Wearing in a while. This is from Von Mar, by the way. Love that, out in Lake St. Louis. Good morning, Stephanie. She said, ouch, that crowd. I'm flying out in August. Well, Stephanie, hopefully by then you won't run into some problems with Lambert Airport. Good morning, Julie. Rose also said, I attended my last grad party this year. Had about 9 last few months. Great service at church. New week. Let's all make it great. Good morning to Jenny, Julie, Linda. Good morning to another Julie. Yes, and I love the fact that you all call each other friends. I hope you're all having a great start to your day. We'll be looking around on all of the platforms. Make sure that you are all heard. Any questions or comments you have, always feel free to drop them in live or when you watch a little bit later. I'm super excited to introduce you to our new friend. Her name is Amber Hamilton. Now, Amber is the owner of the Tea Spout, which is in Chesterfield. Have you been yet? And I say yet because you better make plans to join us on the 31st, the end of the month at 11 a.m. We are going to have so much fun. Great food, whether you want breakfast, you want lunch. We have incredible teas and coffees that they're going to provide for you. But how did she ever come to open this place that is very unique, and how she stands out among the rest? Amber Hamilton will be my guest when we return. Welcome to the mobile Monica version of the Real Monica Adams Show at my favorite restaurant. There's something about a coffee house that's just very warm and welcoming.
Gives you that sense of community.
What are you most proud of since you've opened?
I cry easily. I'm thankful for everybody here.
You opened the door during the middle of the pandemic. You got the best Italian restaurant in the United States. Here in St. Louis, you put us on the map. Does it scare you? You go through fear?
Terrifying.
So how do you get past the fear?
We find something to laugh about.
And once again, we want to thank Mike Vernacey. Mike is with GradeWorks LLC. He is one of our newest sponsors, and that list, by the way, keeps growing and growing. I'll have Zach put on the bottom of the screen while we're talking about Mike all of the sponsors that have joined us over the last couple of years, and they just keep growing and growing. So Mike recently came on board. He is now the sponsor of our What the Weather segment. He said, I want to further the education of Beckett more, and I'm so thrilled for that. Mike can do roofing for you or grading work. Again, he is a wonderful human being, and if you have not seen the story of his backstory, which is what we always love to do, tell the backstory before these wonderful humans come on and tell us about their business. Mike has done amazing things in the world, and he can do amazing things for you. So we always ask you to, again, to support those that support us. Go online and find out all the wonderful things they do. If you need a new roof right now, I came out of our neighborhood and a new roof was being put in. I was like, shoot, should have got a hold of them earlier and got a chance to tell them about Mike. So roofing, excavating work, all of that. GradeWorks LLC. Go to the website, which is GradeWorks, W-R-X, GradeWRXMO.com. Thank you so much, Mike. We love you and hope to see you very soon. All right, folks, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in already. Start telling your family and friends to tune in if you're into health and wellness. You're just not feeling your best. You want to sleep better. You got gut health, all the things that you need to understand as It's what we put in and on our body that can truly change your life. And the woman I'm going to introduce you today knows all about that. And it's really what brought her to her passion, opening up the Tea Spout down in Chesterfield. Let me introduce you to my friend Amber Hamilton. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
You look
Thank
beautiful
for having
this
me.
morning.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The rain in the air and everything else. You're like, you never know.
I know, it's a humidity.
Yes.
Yeah, when I left the house, I looked great. Now I look like a wet rat.
Right? Exactly. Oh my God. You never know. You never know.
But you don't.
No,
So,
thank you.
First of all, I want to give a shout out to Bill Tuttle. Bill introduced me to this wonderful human being, and he knew right away something magic is going to happen with you two. And we do believe that. We sat down for I guess a couple of hours, had a wonderful meeting.
Absolutely.
And thought, okay, we need to do some great things together. And I wanted to start with it by introducing you to her and her backstory. So we're going to get into how you opened the Tea Spout, but we're going to talk more about first the personal side of you. So tell me a little bit. You are a single mother of two beautiful young girls.
Yes, I have two beautiful young girls. One is 13 and one is 15. So we are permit stage and all that good stuff already. Growing up way too fast, but they are just wonderful. And each stage has just been very intriguing and very, admirable and all kinds of stuff. So
how hard is it to have two teenagers in the house?
I thought it might be a little harder. I'll be honest. I have great girls. They're very respectful. However, they also are sisters, and you know how sisters be.
Yes.
So it's one of those things. It's been interesting. And like I said, very comforting to see them growing and building and being, big people now. So
do they help mom out around the house?
Yeah. I would like to say yes. Yes, so we do. They're very busy. We also play a lot of sports, things like that as well. They're very into our church as well, mission trips and VBS and things like that.
Yeah.
So they keep busy, but they do lend a hand, especially when they know I'm a little bit frantic and like, okay, guys, we really should clean up around here now.
Yeah,
So,
let's do this as a team.
Right.
So your 13-year-old is Adriana?
Yes.
And your 15-year-old Jocelyn?
Jocelyn, yes.
Okay, so you said they're into sports. You also are a big hockey family. So if you watch the St. Louis Blues from like forever ago, Jamie Rivers is coming on tomorrow. If you remember him, so you guys might want to watch it. Reed Lowe's a big fan of our show. We've had so many others. Tony Twist was just recently on. So those are the heydays when I was covering the Blues. I absolutely loved it.
I would say good days though.
Yeah, right.
Great days, some great players, and a lot of cool entertainment, if you will.
Did you all watch the Stanley Cup when we won? Yeah.
Yes, the parade. We went to the parade, of course, everything. That was absolutely amazing. I don't know how many people in our family were just so ecstatic. It was awesome to be down there and a part of that. Yeah.
Agreed. We have some really incredible sports here in St. Louis, but big hockey fans, both of us. Have you and the girls gone down to Energizer Park for a city game?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. And being big soccer fans as well, it's just one of those, it's a great experience. It is so much fun to just be in that atmosphere and to see St. Louis really getting into the sports scene and building up that city like that is just awesome to me.
Well, and being a small business owner and being involved in the food and the beverage scene, don't you love the fact that they highlight St. Louis restaurants?
Yes.
I mean, that's so unique.
Yes. And that is one thing, being in many different stadiums. I love that we are a very close-knit city like that, where we're bringing in our, local eats and local beverages and things like that as well. That's so awesome.
Yeah. If you all haven't been, by the way, you've got to go to Energizer Park for a city game, because that is what they do, and they do it very, very well. Again, if you're just tuning in, Amber Hamilton is my guest, and we're going to talk about the Tea Spout and how it all came about. But when did you get this awakening of wellness? Did you watch it in yourself? Did you watch it in your girls, those around you?
It was a huge thing of mine, even back in high school. I was a huge tea drinker, actually, and I got a lot of trouble for drinking warmer beverages during the summer. And many friends, do you want ice with that? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like it's cleansing. It makes me feel good. So I started noticing the benefits then. But it was probably 2015, I was at a Thanksgiving with my family, and my cousin had said, hey, have you watched What the Health on Netflix? And I was like, no, I haven't seen any of that. He's like, you're so healthy. You need to watch these things. So I kind of jumped into it a little bit more after doing that. I watched the documentary, kind of dove into some different things, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take some courses. I stayed at home. The girls were little, but it was one of those I could do it on my own time. I could learn more for them to see if maybe some of the things that I could give them could benefit them in the long run instead of just short term as well.
Sure.
And some of the foods that are out there, it was just kind of, do I really want to give that to them? It's been on the shelf for how long and it can sit there. And there were just little things like, how do I make my own food?
Mm-hmm.
So I really dove in about 2015, and that led me through, some people would say a rabbit hole, but I would say just it was like mythological. It was so awesome. It was magical. It was just diving into, okay, here's the herb side of things. Here's what this can do for you. Oh, what I'm putting in my body really does affect how I'm sleeping, how I'm, approaching people even during the daytime,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to have that sense of cleanse was so nice. So I kind of started doing I went vegetarian then as
Mm-hmm.
well. So I just said one day, I'm like, you know what? I've always wanted to do this. I lived on a farm. So it was, I named some of those animals, and I'm like, I'm not going to
Oh, yeah.
go that route. So I decided to go that route. And I honestly didn't miss it, or if I was feeling so much better. I felt so much more cleansed. I felt so
Mm-hmm.
much more energy,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So it wasn't even necessarily the meat. It was the types of meat. It was where the meat was coming from.
Right.
It was knowing where that meat was coming from, and growing up on farm-fed meat and then having some store-bought meat, you're like, oh my gosh, that is totally different.
World of difference, right?
So different. So it really started right around 2015, and just trying to figure out what was going to be best for us in the long run.
So here you are 10 years later,
Yeah.
and just an awakening. And it's interesting. You just used the word cleanse. So every morning I wake up with an intentional word, and today it was cleansing.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that crazy?
Yay, I
That's a
love
little
that.
eerie.
That's really cool.
That's a God wink there.
Yeah.
Amber Hamilton, she owns the Tea Spout, and we're talking about your own health and wellness. And so what we want you to do is, this is a play on words, do a little gut check here. How are you sleeping? How does your skin look? How does your hair look? How do your nails look? Are you irritable? Are you like just flying off the handle wondering why? So much of that is what we're putting in the body, right, Amber?
Yes, exactly. I just quick story, really quick too, that also led me down this. A friend of mine was really upset because her son had a little bit of what they would call ADHD.
Right.
She did not want to use the medication. She was really upset about all of it. And I said, hey, let's get his blood work done. Just see what his blood work says, and maybe he's deficient in something. He ended up being extremely deficient in iron and vitamin D. As soon as she brought that back up and got that to where it needed to be, she noticed a world of difference. And so it was one of those things that still gives me goosebumps. She
Yes.
was just so thankful that it was just those two things. That's all it was, just upping a little bit of his vitamin system. And he kind of just, by all means, he's a little boy too. So they're rambunctious, they're things. But at the same time, she noticed so much difference at school. He wasn't getting, the red marks anymore. And then that kind of trickled into my sister too, as well, with my nephew. As soon as she started taking out the red dyes and some of the artificial stuff, she noticed a world of difference as well. So it really proved itself, even through these young ones, that we don't have to medicate them so early. Maybe we just need to know what we're putting in their bodies.
I had told Amber when she told me that story about the very first author I ever interviewed in my career 32 years ago was the author of the book, Right Brain Children in a Left Brain World. And it was all how they're taught and how quickly the medical field wants to throw them on Ritalin, and how parents need to question, like, wait a minute, maybe they do. And again, you've got to figure that out. I'm going to stress this. Always check with your doctor, right?
Absolutely.
But in some phases, can we change how they eat? I also told this story, and I don't remember how many years ago this was, but I had parents that were coming over from a particular county, and I'm not going to say which one, but a particular county where there was a large amount of children with autism. And we were finding that parents were coming over and going to Whole Foods because at the time, this is a while back, there weren't a lot of other stores that were offering healthier style food. So there they were. And so I did the story, and I thought, well, why? Why are they doing this? And they said, because we have been told by doctors that are more in functional, holistic, homeopathic medicine, that if we try this, that maybe their symptoms will get better. Not to say that they don't have autism anymore,
Right,
but they're
absolutely.
able to control it, and they were doing better with it. And so I thought, if that's not a wake-up call to what we're putting in our children's bodies and your own bodies,
Absolutely.
what is the wake-up call you need?
Absolutely. And I could not agree with you more. And it is one of those things I wish we did teach that more in school and, in our home ec classes and things like that. really teach the kids that there are good opportunities out there to find good, healthy foods. And that is the best thing for the kids nowadays is they have more options.
Right.
There's so many more options out there. We wanted to be one of those options as well. Just being able to get the local farmers to, jump on board. We have some amazing local farms that we get our produce and our meats from. Just being able to have access to that. So, so much of a difference. We also know that there's people that aren't real, they're very limited in some of the things that they can find as far as the healthier and things, which could then turn them away to be like, well, I can't find it, so I'm not going to do it.
Right.
The only thing I would say to something like that is just really pay attention to where it's coming from. Try to buy the best that you can find. And I know it's, sometimes comes with a bigger price.
Right.
But the more we jump into it, I feel like just like everything else, a flat screen TV a long time ago was a very expensive thing. We can get those for nothing now.
Right.
So as long as we jumped on board and started doing it more as a community, I feel like it would really help with the whole process, and it would really bring those prices down eventually.
Absolutely. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is Amber Hamilton. We're going to talk about the Tea Spout, her passion project that started and then it's grown and it continues to grow. She's got other great ideas of what she wants to do coming in the future. You just mentioned working with local farms. I told her I wanted to introduce her to Larry and Tiffany, who own Circle 6, the farm out in Defiance. You will love what they're doing. But that's what I really love about small businesses. And those of you that own in the restaurant, the beverage and the food industry, is all of you that work together. You don't see each other as a competitor. You see how can we lift each other up.
Yes. And that was one of my biggest things in starting a business is I noticed how much competition there was in between people that could really do something cool together. If we could just put ourselves together and start maintaining a space at least where people could come together and not feel like they're in competition anymore, but working together and be like, oh, you know what, you do herbs, which also I love to do essential oils. So why don't we get together? And instead of me being like, oh, well, she already does her own thing, it's just bringing that, collaborate. It's bringing the community. We have a saying at the shop, it's community. So it's one of those where we bring the tea. Yeah, right. Exactly. So it's one of those, that was our biggest thing, is just bringing the community together and making sure that they know that we can do things as a whole instead of always being in competition with each other. And that brings its own struggles in itself. So
you just gave me chills, because that's truly what life should be about.
Yes.
You think about young kids, you introduce them to sports, teach them the team aspect, which, by the way, TEA is in that.
Yep. I love this. This is going to be everywhere. I love it.
If you are just tuning in, we're talking about the Tea Spout, and we're going to get into how she came to that. But as you can feel, she had this passion. She watched what happened with others around her, with herself as well, with her children. And it is, well, hey, this is a wake-up call. Again, vegetarian, introduce yourself to it. Maybe some people like to introduce themselves to a vegan lifestyle. I know people that introduced themselves, they didn't stay, but it was maybe for a few years. Then they kind of went back and forth. We've talked in the past about if you're eating animal proteins on a regular basis, just how you're feeling. And if you just kind of take some of it out a bit, or you do this balance of life, or again, as you mentioned, depends on what are the meats that you're eating, just don't, I don't know, to us and anybody else that's in the industry that understands this, it is, aren't you worried about what's happening on the inside?
Yes.
For me, you should be.
Right.
And I told you about, the owner's manual. You unzip yourself and think, what am I doing?
Absolutely.
If you could see on the inside, I bet you would change some things.
Absolutely.
All right. We're going to talk about the education side. So we'll first talk about the original Tea Spout that opened, and then the growth of it. And then as you walk through, I came in the other day, I was taking some videos of everything that she offers there, which I just love. And I can't wait to hear the people that have been coming in, what they love the most. So we'll have more with Amber Hamilton, again, the owner of the Tea Spout, when we return.
Carroll House has the furniture you're dreaming of.
For big family gatherings, for entertaining friends, or just hanging out.
For working from home or resting after work.
For kids growing up, or young adults moving out.
Whether you're updating your first home, your next home, or your dream home.
Whatever the reason you're shopping, we have the furniture you're dreaming of at Carroll House.
Because you like nice things.
Welcome back, and thanks again for tuning in to the Real Monica Adams Show on this Monday. I hope your day is starting great. Today is a day that we're going to give you a little education, and we're going to introduce you to what I think is going to become one of your favorite new places. It's called the Tea Spout, and it's down in Chesterfield. We'll show you again the address and how you can get there. Follow them, by the way, on Instagram, because they're doing a wonderful job showcasing what they have, whether it's a tea, whether it's a coffee. Have you ever heard of mushroom coffee or mushroom tea, by the way? We've got a video of my husband coming in with me the other day and trying that out, and I can't wait for you to see his reaction to that. But that definitely, Amber, took him out of his comfort zone for sure. We'll look at some comments and questions for you from you in just a second. We told you a little bit about her from a single mom. You also, thank you for being a dog lover. I'm a huge dog lover. You have 2 huskies?
We do. Yes, we have 2 woolly-coated huskies, Mosley and Keto. They're great.
Keto, I love it.
They're definitely spunky, if you will. I've got one that's a Houdini. He likes to disappear and get out of little holes that we don't even know how he gets out of. He likes to visit our neighbors a lot. And then we have the other one who is just, I always call him my old man. He's kind of more docile and right next to mama at all times.
Of course. She also has 2 kitties, a Russian tortoise, fish, a rescue bird. I love this. You can feel. Now, here's my question, though, and I got into that because when we start changing how we eat ourselves, we should also be paying attention what we're giving to our animals. So do you do the same that you do for you?
I do. Many people would think I'm a little bit over the top,
Nope,
if you
I
will. But I have seen it in what started that actually was I had a boxer who had ALS, and she was kind of deteriorating pretty quickly. We really wanted her to obviously get the best joy out of life that she could. So the vet just recommended more of a human-based food, more of a blander diet, but yet human-based, just adding some supplements and vitamins in there as well. And just seeing the difference and how she was even mobile for so much longer than they would have ever expected. She had about 2.5 years more than they had predicted. And then that trickled down into her sister, who she didn't have ALS, but she had some different degenerate kind of things that were going on, that were prolonged, I feel like, because of the homemade diet, which then we did for the huskies because of their coats. They're really long haired. So just their coat difference from going from a kibble base to adding some chickens and fresh veggies and stuff like that in there. It was a whole different ball game.
People shouldn't, it is, by the way, and people shouldn't think you're crazy when you're doing that, because those are our babies and they are relying on us.
Yes.
And so you'll get a wake-up call. We do our segment every other Thursday with Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue, and she has taught me so much that literally every time I go there, I'm like, okay, I'm changing something again. I'm changing something again for the better. We're doing more raw-based.
Yes.
And she's like, if you are going to do kibble, just make sure that you're not just giving them dry kibble, right?
Yeah.
So we're putting a raw egg in the morning. We're putting the raw meat kind of mixed in. We're putting bone broth in, right? All these things, all these changes. And then if you've never seen the show we did with her where we went through all the different dog foods.
Okay.
You want to see this.
I didn't. I'm going to have to look
It's a wake-up call for a lot of people, and the treats that you give.
Yes,
right?
the treats are huge.
Look at the ingredients and things, which you get. So you talked earlier about digging in 2015 and then going in and getting certifications and really digging into the education side. What did you start with, and what have you been doing in these last 10 years from that realm?
I went ahead, I got on, and when you get online, you get told so many different things from so many different websites and all these different opinions. So I decided I was going to jump into a couple different schooling choices and see how they were relatable, or if they were way off base. Maybe it wasn't something I really, believed in once I started. So I started with 3 different schools. I of course won't badmouth any of them. 2 of them I just wasn't into. I didn't like. Some of them were still saying you absolutely need cow milk, you absolutely need this. And it was just one of those where I'm like, okay, well, that's fine for some people. We're so different. That was another thing I have learned. So different. And so to each their own. And that is huge for me and my business. But just diving into the Herbal Academy and then more into the Functional Healing Alliance. Andrea's her program is just amazing. I mean, it really dives deep. You get a lifelong community of study group friends that then you can kind of go off on your own, who follow you around and make sure that everything is going okay. Anytime I would have like, a question about, what, I really don't know. This is a class C for pregnant ladies. Let me get on my group chat and just see what everybody's saying. It would help out so much just to have that extra info and that extra insight from people I knew learned the same thing I did as well. Instead of trying to fight that system of, well, what you learned is not the same what I learned and what you learning. So it was more so being an advocate for the Functional Healing Alliance too, and just being like, everything that I have learned so far through them has proven to me to be very close to what I was learning in those classes.
Well, and this is what I love, and this is where I really got chills. And when Amber and I first met, it was, oh my gosh, I have head to toe chills. They won't stop. They won't stop. They won't stop. Because it is, as you, and there it is again.
Right.
It is a constant education, and it is, well, I've been involved in the wellness field for a long time, but teach me more, because we are ever evolving and new things come about. You don't want to get stuck in your own way. Just always be saying, sit in a room. I've always heard the adage, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You want to learn and learn and learn and learn. And then again, it's this reciprocal teach, teach, teach. That's what she wants to do. So when I talk about the fact that she's very unique and that, yes, you fall in love with a coffee house or a tea, I don't know a lot of tea places, first of all. That's the other reason why I fell in love with you, is I've always been a tea drinker. I don't do coffee, but I'm always willing to try a little. And I want to show this video. So my husband tried your mushroom coffee. Now, he is a diehard black coffee drinker. He does his red eyes. I was listening to a friend the other day saying, I guess I can't drink coffee anymore. It's really messing with my stomach. All these things that I don't know because I'm not a coffee drinker. But we first introduced him to it, and well, first of all, introducing him to your place, period. He walked in the door like every person I've introduced so far, and they all say the same thing. So here's the video. Jim, what do you think of Amber's place?
Oh, I love this place. It's beautiful. It really is.
What do you love?
It smells good in here.
It smells good?
Yes.
And what are you trying today?
It's comfortable. What am I trying today? Mushroom coffee.
This is way out of his comfort zone.
I gave it a little bit of, I gave that cream a little bit of
Froth.
froth.
What kind of cream did you try?
Pistachio.
And I am having a liquid sunset mocktail. Doesn't that look good? You got to come to the Tea Spout in Chesterfield. Yes, you got to get into the Tea Spout for all of that. So it's so funny because, like I said, he's such a traditionalist. And so he thought it smelled good in there. It feels very airy and welcoming. You've done a really wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
Warm and welcoming. That's what I hear from everyone. So yes, she has these incredible beverages. Now, once he tried it, I was like, okay, this will be very interesting to see how it plays out. Have you seen the video I put online yet?
No,
okay.
I haven't.
So here is his reaction.
Ooh, holy smokes. That's good.
Is it?
That really is good. Yes.
Does it taste different to you at all, or?
It's doesn't have a bite. It's not bitter necessarily.
I love it.
And that pistachio creamer really makes a difference.
And she was telling us that this will help with people who have acid reflux and all the things that they feel after coffee.
That's good.
Yay, we converted them. Amber, way to go.
That's good.
You've converted him. He could not stop saying, wow, this is really good.
Right.
So his comment was, it doesn't have the bite of normal coffee. So, okay, so let's go through this. For those of you that have never even heard of, let alone know anything about, mushroom beverages. Can you explain that?
So it's the stem of the actual plant that the beans grow on is actually injected with extract from mushrooms, the chaga, the lion's mane, the reishi, and then it is then also steamed. Whenever they steam and they roast them and everything else, they steam that and roast it with the extract as well. So not only are you getting it through the stem cell, you're also getting it as the steaming process is going on as well. Basically what that does is infuses it with things that will take away the bitter taste, that it's way better for your gut. It's not going to have that acid that's in there that's going to really tear at your gut and give you that acid reflux, maybe even some of the digestion issues that some people have. It's like, oh no, I had coffee kind of thing. I got to run to the bathroom. Like I know we all know those people, but it's one of those, I mean, some people look at it as an amazing thing for them, but those types of urges are also not something you really want to make sure that you're doing constantly to yourself. So giving your body those extra vitamins and minerals that you can get from those extracts really plays down on that. I love coffee. I love black coffee, but that was one of those things, acid reflux. I had the stomach issues. I had the gut issues. I was always ick afterward. And then I noticed I'm just not going to drink coffee anymore. I just don't want it anymore. It's just one of those things. I'm a tea drinker anyway. I don't need coffee, but I still had those urges. I still wanted it. So every once in a while I would try it and I would just tough it out. But then they came up with mushroom coffee, and being a mushroom lover myself, I was like, okay, I'll try that out. It does not taste like mushrooms. That was the biggest thing. It does not taste like mushrooms. It was one thing that I always get that question, does it taste like that? I'm like, no, it doesn't. Not whatsoever. It still tastes like coffee, but it's smooth. It was a lot easier. I didn't have that like up wave of like, oh, a spike of energy and jitters. And then, I need more coffee.
Right. I need a whole pot.
I didn't need that. It was just a very smooth transition. I had the energy that I needed when I needed it. I didn't have the acid reflux.
Yeah.
I could drink it on an empty stomach and not have those issues as well. So it was just like, oh my gosh, this is where it's
moments,
at.
Right? You're right. So that is the first thing when Jim was standing up there and talking to the girls, and they were so sweet, by the way. Your staff's amazing.
I
So
love
shout out
them.
to your entire staff.
Yeah.
But they were like, no, just try it. It won't give you all these things that you're used to doing that, again, might fall to the negative realm.
Right.
He's like, this is so far out of my comfort zone, but okay. And then it was, wait, does that say pistachio? He was so lit up by the fact that he could have this pistachio cream. You mentioned earlier about cow's milk.
Yes.
I'm going to give you all a quick story. I have a friend who has triplets, okay? The two girls were fine. The boy always acting up and actually just kind of mean.
Yeah.
Okay? And so she started thinking, should there be things? And good that her mama mind went right to, is it what is inside of him? So they decide to switch him from regular milk to, I think, almond milk or oat milk or hemp milk or anything else. Suddenly saw him change. Okay? He's doing great. Suddenly he goes back and she's like, he started being a little jerk again. And she was like, this doesn't make any sense because he hasn't had that in forever. And so they're looking around. Anybody, did you give him? No. He happens to have this picture that was taken of him at school, and right next to him was this little carton of milk. And she's like, oh my gosh, there it is again.
Yeah.
If that's not a wake up call, and again, as we're stressing, maybe it is okay for you, and maybe it is okay for your kids.
Yes.
But if you are seeing issues, question it.
Right.
That's
right.
really our message of the day is question, be your own advocate.
Yes, listen to your body. And that's one thing, even with my girls that I absolutely love now, they'll be like, I don't really know if I want to eat that again. I do not feel the greatest after that. Where we were kind of accustomed to not feeling good after we ate, or we felt really full and we're just like, oh, we're just supposed to want to take a nap. Really not really, because food is supposed to be our energies. Food is supposed to be what's keeping our body just at our momentum that we need to go. And if you feel groggy or ick after you, or swollen, because that's one thing I noticed, especially with dairy. Once I cut the dairy out, my swelling of my hands, my feet, just how much that even, I'm just waking up in the morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can put my rings on.
Yes.
I can put those rings on and I don't feel like, or my tennis shoes don't feel so tight. Even that, as I'm 38 years old. So it's one of those kind of things where, as I get older, I want to know these things that can help my body keep going instead of making me feel that sluggish or the swellingness or just the grog that we can get sometimes anyway.
I am such a big proponent of if we can teach them when they're younger.
Yes.
If I had an Amber in my life when I was 38, I would have loved that. Okay, we're going to show you more of the store, and we're going to talk about how the Tea Spout, again, all came about and how it has grown and where she wants to go from here. We'll look at some comments and questions. Anything that you have for us, feel free to drop in now. If you have to rush off to work, be sure to come back and watch the rest. It's the beauty of streaming, that it's there for you. And if you watch later, just do a little hashtag replay. Again, Amber Hamilton, the Tea Spout in Chesterfield.
Carroll House Furniture Homes look the best because of our free design service. Our designers please your taste.
Let's reimagine your room with 50 brand name choices.
We'll create a 3D design with a 360 view for your room.
Free design services are just the beginning. Free 0% financing, fast free delivery and setup, and the guaranteed lowest prices in the country with no stipulations.
You'll get a perfect custom floor plan for your new dream room.
Carroll House Design, because you like nice things.
Now, I mentioned earlier these wonderful sponsors. We couldn't do the show without them. And of course, you as well, because you wake up, you watch the show, you tell others, holy cow, I love all these inspirational stories. And then we have all these people that want to align their brand with our brand. And the missions come together. And ooh, that's powerful. Positivity all over the place. Well, Just Pools is one of them. If you remember last year, Madonna Livingston told us her story, and it was a powerful one. She lost 2 of her sons. And being able as a mama to keep going after not just 1 but 2 children gone from this earth, that takes a lot inside. That woman is incredible. And then running a business and putting a smile on her face day after day. What she provides, I just love her. And that's the thing. Those are the type of businesses that we want on board. Just Pools, that's their pool, by the way. When you drive down 55 and you look over the West Outer Road in Arnold, they are the Advanced Pentair dealership. Just Pools, they have pools, they have spas, and of course they have everything you need to keep that water crystal clear. So stop in and see them. 636-464-7110. That address again is 3987 West Outer Road South in Arnold. Love you, Madonna, and your team. Welcome back again, The Real Monica Adams Show. I'm your host, Monica Adams. This is Amber Hamilton. If you're just tuning in, she's the owner of the Tea Spout. Have you driven down in Chesterfield? Oh, I've passed that. I need to stop in. Yes, you do. Breakfast, lunch, incredible beverages. So people are weighing in, Amber, and I had a feeling they are going to all say, well, wait a minute, I need to try this mushroom beverage. Tea, you have mushroom tea and mushroom coffee.
Yes, mushroom tea and mushroom coffee.
And then someone asked, do you sell it to make it home?
Yes, we do. Our main mushroom tea that we carry right now is the Mudwater brand. I know a lot of people have seen that, especially during on social media, things like that. They're a wonderful brand. They source from great places. The owners are wonderful. They get right in touch with you directly. It's not like you always have to go through a certain sales team or anything like that to get to them. It's been a great brand for us to use. As well as we have the mushroom coffee available. We have a couple different options as well in that. And we also have some decaf as well.
So since you, and by the tell everybody, so you originally had opened a location in the same plaza, but a smaller one, and then you kept your eye on this other. So did kind of the whispers happen of eventually you're going to go over there? And we didn't dismiss the whispers.
We didn't. It was one of those, you just kind of, do I want to make the leap? Do I want to make the jump? Is this going to be what I think it could be? All of these questions, of course, whenever you're trying to grow. I started in my home right before COVID, and I was making meals for people. I was prepping for people. I was kind of guiding some. COVID hit, of course. Nobody wanted you to be in their homes anyway. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to dive more into the herbal side of this. I love teas. I can gather that stuff and still send those to my clients and my patients. So I went ahead and did that. And that led me to going right after COVID, going into the Painted Tree off of Baldwin. And I had an Overland Park location as well. Didn't like those because I couldn't be there for people.
Right.
It wasn't something I could be there all the time. I could hear people over the camera systems be like, but why would I need this? Like, what do I need this for? I feel like I need it. I don't know. It's like, I want to talk to you, but it's kind of like a voice from above. It's weird. So I started the small business here in the smaller one. Loved it. I thought it was so awesome. It started to grow. We weren't line out the door or anything like that just yet, especially with our location being just outside the valley. People sometimes are like, oh, well, why outside the valley? The valley is an amazing place, but where we're at is it's peaceful. It's one thing where you can come as a destination and not feel rushed is what our biggest thing was. So we found our small store. The coolest thing happened, so many women's groups, Facebook groups, men's meetings. We had a couple of people wanted to bring in their offices and do after-hour office meetings, but we just didn't have the capacity at that store. So as we grew and we were kind of getting busier and busier, I have had staff with me I have had one for over 1.5 years. She's absolutely amazing. She has helped me really build this business and grow and helped me, learn that you got to take chances. What we have is something really cool. We just need to get people to know it's here.
Right.
So in order to do that, I was like, okay, let's just make the move. And realizing too that there really wasn't an option out this route. Like we really were kind of one of the only option for a lot of people. We had people coming 1.5 hours to our store.
Wow.
And that was one thing that we cherish that. We want you to drive 1.5 hours, but also feel like you don't have to walk right back out as soon as you get there too. And we also know you're driving there for a reason. So that was something that meant a lot to me. And then people calling in for wedding showers, baby showers, it was a no-brainer after that.
Bible studies.
Bible studies, yes, that was a
That
great
has
one.
become it's become really, really big in
Yes.
coffee shops. And now I love the fact that, again, if you're a tea drinker like we are. So I have this video that I took. We've got several that we're going to show you over the next couple of weeks as we get ready for our big show on the 31st. But yes, you can come in, you can go up to the counter, you can get something wonderful to drink or eat, but then start walking through the shop and ask questions. That's the thing. I was watching Amber just the other day, educating someone. Yeah, love an egg chair, by the way. So Amber's actually talked about this. Right adjacent to that is where the kids can gather. Yeah. So mom and dad can sit right over there on the other side of the fence.
Yes, right.
While the kids have their own. You actually had a mother say, "Thank you for providing that."
It was probably one of the most touching moments. I actually had two the last week and a half. One mother she almost broke down and just said, "Thank you for having a space for my children." I know that feeling. I have two that I stayed at home with. Me and my friend would always go places with them. We always felt like they had to be quiet or, hey, mind your manners, which, teaching them manners and minding themselves in space is great, but they're children. And sometimes it's hard to keep them there for that long without shoving an iPad or something in front of them. And that's one thing we were like, we just didn't want to do for them. So it was nice being able to have a space that big too, that allowed us to be like, you know what? They have their own space.
Yes.
Let's put their own space in there. We'll put cute little fences up because
Squishy.
right, exactly. The squishies. My daughter, she is just so fun with those. But yeah, it was just another spot to where parents could bring their kids and still feel safe. Yes. They could still feel like, okay, I'm going to sit here on the couch and relax while you just go play and go draw some pretty pictures and things like that. And we always love to see the pictures after they're done too, of course.
The other thing is the signs and the sayings that are everywhere. The whole place, again, when you open the door, you can feel the positivity that Amber is wanting you to feel when you leave there, including the sign, and Zach actually showed it earlier, in the bathroom. And it was so funny because the meeting I had the other day with Jenny and this other Jenny, who I can't wait to introduce you to, Jenny Gabriel's coming in to talk with us in a couple of weeks. I walked in the door and immediately my eye went to, if not now, when? That is such a powerful statement. But you have that in the women's bathroom, that and so many others, that when we go to the bathroom and we come back and we're washing our hands and we just sit there and we look at this. Yes. All of those sayings. And you pick the one that's meant for you because it will call out to you. Yes. And for me, there were many things on that board, but it was right there at the bottom. If not now, when? Right. And so for you, your friend saying, take the leap. Yes. Come on, Amber, let's do this. What you have provided for the community, what are you most proud of?
I feel like I'm most proud of having a safe space. Everyone who walks through that door so far has been able to tell me, oh my gosh, I feel so good here. This is a good space. I've had people come in multiple times just to sit on the couch and just sit there and breathe. And I think that is just wonderful. So I think my biggest accomplishment so far is just giving people the option, giving the people the option of comfort, hopefully a little hospitality behind it, but without having that business feel of like true corporate, America, to where it's just like, oh, in and out, see ya, bye. We don't want to. Next. We make it a point to try to know your name, especially if you're in constantly. We have so many wonderful regulars. It's unreal. We have buttons on our computer that are special for them even. So there's just little things that they give us a lot that they don't, I don't think they realize how much they really give back to us as far as what we're doing for them.
Right. It goes both ways. Yes. What you're feeling from them and what they're giving back. And we want you to spread the word. Trust me, the very first time you walk in, you will be back and you'll be back again. And you're going to sit there and say, let me tell my family and friends. So let's talk about your hours. You are off on Sundays and Mondays.
Yes, we are off on Sundays and Mondays. Sunday's more of our family day, we call it. And Mondays are prep day, 7 to 3 during the week. From Tuesday to Friday. And then Saturday we're open from 10 to 3.
So on the menu, because you have breakfast, and is breakfast all day?
Yes.
There we go. All day. So if you are one of those that love breakfast food, there's some breakfast slides for you to kind of pick. I've had the avocado toast already, but I want to try something different when we have our broadcast on the 31st. So should it be the breakfast burrito? Should it be the waffles? Maybe the mixed fruit? What's your favorites on there?
Ooh, I would say I'm not the best breakfast asker, if you want my honest opinion.
The eggs and greens sound good to me.
The eggs and greens are wonderful. I'll be honest, the eggs and potatoes and the avocado toast are our absolute best sellers. Okay. With the burrito coming up close there as well. Breakfast bar parfait is amazing. It is dairy-free.
Perfect.
We'd use a coconut yogurt base with a little bit of granola and then some mixed fruit, seasonal fruit on top.
There are a
Sells
lot of
really
people that
well.
come to the Tea Spout, by the way, and I'm going to pick my tea up as I'm talking about this. We'll talk about what I'm drinking here this morning, that stay all day and they have meetings there. So they go from breakfast to, okay, now it's time for lunch. So if you're more of a lunch person, and I haven't had a chance to try your lunch yet, what are some of Amber's favorites on the lunch menu?
Ooh, I love the mushroom flatbread. That is absolutely one of my favorites. We also have the taco salad.
Oh,
That's
yum.
kind of a mix and match and do it your way kind of thing. We do have some of our fresh meats available to add to them, but everything comes just veggie fresh.
Okay.
And then the other is right now we're not doing necessarily a soup every day, but I know just with the hotness.
95 degree
I was
weather?
saying, I don't know that too many
You have a
people
chilled soup.
Yeah,
Watermelon soup sounds good.
We could do
Doesn't it?
something like that. Yes, absolutely. But I know that is another thing that we're really trying to introduce is just the different ways to soup is what we call it.
Sure.
There's so many different ways, broth, thick, creamy versus all the different ways. And each one has a real benefit to it. So especially in the fall, we're really going to dive into that and we'll have more of a soup bar option and things like that as well.
You know you're going to see me regularly. I just keep coming back again and just bringing friends, bringing family. My mom and my brother and sister-in-law live in Lake St. Louis, so they were like, what is this? And I said, see, it's just awareness that they're there. So she's such a sweetheart. She sent a text about a half hour before she was coming in, and she's like, I'm just leaving the cafe. I'm going to bring some tea and coffee. I was like, well, we have coffee here. Never mind. Let's have the tea. So what did you bring tea-wise for us?
So I brought today the Jasmine Cocoa. It's an in-house signature blend that I came up with. I am a huge jasmine green tea drinker.
Me too.
It got to a point, though, that I was like, it needs something else. So I started adding, I kind of thought of, I love the York peppermint patties when I was a kid.
Yes.
So it kind of brought that, I don't know why I integrated that together, but I was just thinking, I was drinking jasmine one day and I'm like, this would be really good with a York peppermint patty, wouldn't it, Grandpa? And so it was one of those that we used to eat them all the time together. And so it was one of those things where I'm like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to have to do this somehow. So it just the cocoa nibs that are in there and then fresh dried peppermint as well.
Cheers. And it says, by the way, fueled by nature, guided by love, inspired by peace. The Tea Spout. I love this. Again, down in Chesterfield, and we've been showing you the address. Very busy and instrumental also online. So would Instagram be the best for us to follow you on social media or Facebook?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook. We have an amazing social media guru who's jumped on board with us. She's absolutely awesome, and she has done a wonderful job for us to really emphasize what we are about. Myself, I did it for so long, and I just realized, I treasure everything that she has skill-wise. It's just amazing as far as the time, the effort that she has put into our social media. But the ones that we do work with most are the Facebook and the Instagram.
Give her a shout out.
Yeah. Oh, Elizabeth, thank you from
we love
Socially
you.
Done.
I've met her already, and she has wonderful energy.
She's amazing.
Truly wonderful energy. So again, we want you to come and join us. So start telling your family and friends. If it's a business meeting you want to hold that day, or I'm trying to get my old grade school a reunion because a regular that comes to the Tea Spout is a dear friend of mine that I went to grade school with. So shout out to Jody Sufco. Jody and I talked about having our Sacred Heart class of 1985 come and join. And then after the show wraps up, that we all get a chance to sit there and hang out a little bit. Speaking of Jody, you got introduced to him from the tea aspect.
Yes, he came into the shop and was just like, hey, I have this connection with this tea company from Japan. I'd love to talk more to you. It was like a dream come true because it was something that we've always had really good premium teas. I love and I cherish our tea sources. This was a direct connection to a tea source that I would have only could dream of, kind of thing. So when he came in and he started chatting with me, they had just gotten back from Japan, him and his lovely wife, who may be in our kitchen as well now, which is awesome too. Just all the connections are so wonderful. It really put a different perspective on the ritual of tea as well for us. Sure, I drink tea all day long, every day, kind of an American way, kind of style. to know the different rituals that were out there, that's what's really intriguing to me now. We know our teas, but now how do we use them properly? How do we matcha? How do we, get all of these things right and do them in a ritual sense for our customers as well? Because that itself means a lot to some as well.
And we'll introduce you to him. I think he's going to be there on the 31st.
Yes.
Again, the Mobile Monica is July 31st at 11 a.m. So again, it could be that you're having a late breakfast. It could be an early lunch. Again, they have breakfast all day though. So maybe you stick around, you have a meeting there. I want this to be your new favorite spot. And I want you to share this now with everyone. Send it off to your followers, your family, and your friends, and introduce them to the Tea Spout. All of us regular tea drinkers, I've been waiting for this. Not that we're not welcomed in a coffee house.
Absolutely.
And not that coffee drinkers aren't welcome in a tea place, but it's bringing all of us together. But finally, there's a place called the Tea Spout. By the way, it continues. So the Tea Spout, I'm not going to try to even say it. By Aqua.
Akina Amora.
Akina
Amora.
Yeah. Which is?
So I have American Indian as well as European in my heritage. So Akina means peace, and then Amora is love.
Peace and love. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, I love it. Akina Amore. Amore?
Amora. Yes.
Akina Amora. Akina Amora. I got to say it several times and it's in my brain. Akina Amora. The Tea Spout by Akina Amora. All right. So at the end of every show, Amber, we do a devotional, very faith-based, right? So we're bringing freedom to people from things. So these 100 Days to Freedom books are from fear and anxiety. That's one.
Okay.
One is from depression. One is from anger. One is from shame. And then there's one from overeating. What do you feel that you and our audience needs to have freedom from today?
Oh, that's a good one. How about shame?
Shame. I love it.
Yes.
So many times people pick the purple book, which is fear and anxiety. And I love that we get the other ones coming on board as well. 100 Days to Freedom from Shame. And we're also going to say, so Amber, what's to come? Like, what do you see happening with the Tea Spout in the coming years? She also has this, speaking of mobile, idea. Can we say that?
Yeah,
okay, we're going to do
absolutely.
that. So that's how we'll wrap up with Amber when we return.
Discover your full potential with a personalized styling experience. Designing, customizing, and transforming the looks of men and women. Revamp your individual style and embrace what makes you, you. That's real confidence.
And welcome back. We'll get to our book to wrap things up in just a second. Once again, as we wrap up with Amber Hamilton, the owner of the Tea Spout, I just mentioned, where are we going, right? So now things are growing, and then you've got this new idea, Spout and About.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes, we came up with Spout and About because we had a lot of communities reaching out to us, mainly for conferences. Can we come in and have a conference, or can you bring us this to their conferences? We had two assisted living homes, one being Mason Point, which is a great facility. They had us in a few times just for their people that are in there. It was such an amazing feeling that we could bring it to you, kind of thing. So we realized the need for conferences. When you go to a conference and you're really needing brain power and you're really needing thoughts and idea and all these things, you look at the table spread and it's your regular coffees, but it's donuts and it's all these different things that are just loaded with things that aren't going to open your mind and your ability to stay awake kind of thing. It's going to be that, okay, this is a 3-hour meeting and I'm going to be groggy by the end of it kind of thing. So we thought about, how can we up that? How can we make you more productive and give you more options? So whether it be by matcha brownieing or any of those things that we are giving, we're kind of giving more thought to our baked good items and what we're putting into them instead of all the groggy stuff and things that spike up energy and then throw you back down kind of thing, as well as our teas and our coffee. Our coffee is made of mushrooms that help open the mind, help you focus, help all those kind of different things. Teas, what teas could you, are you looking for more of like, an uplifting, this is a really serious meeting and we need to be, on point and things like that? Or is this a fun meeting that I need people to be creative and like just uplifting and all kinds of things like that? And not to just give them the same basic spread that they've always had, just giving them healthier options. the hummus boards that we can provide and all the fresh veggies and fruits
Speaking
from
my
our
language,
local,
Amber.
right? All of the fresh produce from our local farmers, things like that, just getting that on the tables instead of the ick and the grog and the, okay, well, I don't really want to be here anymore kind of feel.
Well, especially people always think about any of you that work, let's say it used to be 9 to 5, right? Then it was 8 to 4 and it was 7 to 3 and it's all shifted around. Or you third shifters, it's where do you hit the, and then you run to the vending machine. No.
Yes.
Right? Put something good in the body. Besides that, there's also all these home goods. I bought a grilling apron for my husband that I absolutely love. I've been wearing the t-shirts to the gym to get her name out there. She also has organic, natural bath and body products, superfood teas, elixirs, herbs to fair trade products, all produced with love and peace in mind. And I love this. When we sat down, she was like, I'm a proud female-owned business. But she learned that the bigger is better mentality didn't work.
Yes.
And a lot of people are driven in life by bigger money. You're driven by peace, love, changing the world.
It's that feeling, like gives me goosebumps again. It's that feeling of somebody telling me, oh my gosh, you have no idea how much that helped me. Yesterday at church, I had one of the ladies that I just adore greatly come in and say, hey, I forgot to tell you, but my sister and my brother-in-law just said, whatever you're doing has helped them so much, whether it was with their sleep, whether it was with their gut issues, things like that. But all it was just a few herbs. And I look at it as, it's just a few herbs. But when they come back and they tell me, oh my gosh, this really worked, that's when I get my satisfaction.
Right.
That's what's really driving me, is being able to hear that and feel that whenever they come in or give you a call. All of us, I just want to let you know that I just had this sandwich and it was like the best thing I've ever eaten. And it's like, okay, I thought it was something so simple, but the freshness of people and just that need that they didn't really sometimes even know that they had. I love it when somebody comes in a little stern with what they think they're going to do kind of thing. And you're like, I got you. I can feel this. I got you. They walk out, they're happy, they're smiling. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be back. I can't wait to try these things. Yep. And a lot of times I love to give samples to individuals who are very unsure of something. And that's something I only ask you come back and you tell me your opinion. Like, did it work for you? Did it not work for you?
And be honest.
Yes, and be extremely honest with me, because honesty is the only way we're going to be able to fix what we're doing.
Authenticity, being real. And obviously, as she's doing, once you leave there, if you are energetic and you're in this incredible mood, just imagine how you are helping to change the world by the way you walk out of there. So it's what this show is all about. And that's why we knew we would like-minded. One more time, it's the Tea Spout. We're going to give you the address, the hours, where you can follow them in the Chesterfield area. We want you to come and be a part of our show on July 31st, 11 a.m. It is our mobile Monica that we're super excited for. And by the way, for all of you businesses that are out there thinking, I love this. I get a chance to tell my story. Yeah, because to me, it has to be done. We never had a chance to do this in TV. The long format is what I love in life. So it's an opportunity to talk for about an hour plus about how this ever became. Right? So for a lot of people that go in there, they didn't know her story. Now her story is out. And now you can come in and say, I love this about you. Thank you for having us in mind, right? And wanting to change us. Just overall, we want to be walking around as the best versions of ourselves. I love you, my friend.
Well, I love you. Thank you so much. This has been such an amazing experience and everything. So I just really do appreciate everything.
Oh, no, I appreciate you and I appreciate what you're doing. And I cannot wait to have all of you come. I hope you can be there that day. If not, all I ask is that you go and support her when you can. So put this on your radar. Okay, so Amber picked 100 Days to Freedom, and this one's from Shame. These are daily devotionals from Stephen Arterburn. This is day 39, Why God is So Good to You. The Lord will not abandon his people because that would dishonor his great name. This is 1 Samuel 12, verse 22. So have you ever experienced a random act of kindness? Maybe it was a person you barely knew, or someone you had nothing in common with, or someone of a very different age, or someone who ought to be a rival. It might have been you a little uneasy or questioning whether the person had an ulterior motive. Sometimes people wonder why God is so good to them. All I've ever done is disappoint him, they say. How could he still love me? Why would he keep blessing me? Just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense if you think purely in terms of his righteousness and your failures, but it does make sense if you take yourself out of the equation and just think about God. Our verse for today tells us that God doesn't turn his back people, not because we're so wonderful, but because his name and reputation are at stake. If he were to suddenly get fed up with us and abandon us, then his integrity and the truthfulness of his word would suddenly be shot. He would no longer be the God whose word never fails. So the good news here is that God's love doesn't depend on your performance. If you fail to be perfectly sweet and irresistible, God isn't suddenly going to say, okay, that does it. You're off my list. I'm not going to help you anymore. Quite the contrary. He's going to love you and work in your life as long as you will let him, because he's God, and that's what he does. John Piper said, God's allegiance to his own name is the foundation of his faithfulness to us. Three times I've gotten chills by reading these. Today's prayer: Father in heaven, you are far better to me than I deserve, and I thank you. Give me peace in these moments when Satan tries to make me believe that you have abandoned me. Oh, Amber, this was a good one.
It was so good. I mean, like, honestly, so good. It ties in so much to what is going on and things of that nature. So, and I mean, even down to the sermon yesterday at our church and our skit, it was just it was the Good Samaritan.
Oh,
so yes. It's just kind of like paying it forward, kind of like keeping your head up and making sure that you don't fall short of yourself. And that's one of those things that you feel shameful for some of the thing, like, how am I doing? Why is this not working the way? Just listen, patience.
Focus, listen, breathe.
It's okay.
Yes.
And then I always turn to, okay, I know you have a plan for me. Kind of give me some guidance.
Yes.
So.
And those signs, by the way, are everywhere. Sometimes I did this in my speaking engagements this week, and I said, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes they're whispers and you dismiss the whisper. Then it has to be a slap in the face and you're like, what is that? Then it's a gut punch. Don't wait for the gut punch. Try to get there earlier. But even if it is to the weight of the gut punch, give yourself some grace.
Absolutely.
At least you finally get it.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Yes.
I'm so excited.
Yes, me too.
I love
Thank
this
you so
collaboration.
much.
Again, July 31st, we'll see you at 11 o'clock. And I know there's more comments and questions that may have come in. We will see those later in the day. You can tag me. I'll make sure that Amber gets those. But better yet, why don't you just go in? She loves to educate. So don't feel lost as you walk through the store and go, I don't know what this word is. I don't know what ashwagandha is. I don't know what adaptogen is. Oh, ask.
Do not be afraid.
Exactly. Don't be afraid. There's no dumb questions. And in fact, it would be that you educate yourself, educate others, and just start feeling better about yourself. That's what she's providing to them.
Absolutely.
The Tea Spout in Chesterfield. Okay, I mentioned earlier Jamie Rivers, former St. Louis Blue and now broadcaster. He is going to be our guest tomorrow. You don't want to miss that. So we'll see you at 7 a.m. And remember, believe in yourself, dream big, become whatever you want to become in life. But the greatest thing you can be is kind. God bless you all.